Tank both Paku and Gonk about 10 yards apart. Don't let them get close because the low is packed, where they'll take little to no damage. DPS focus Paku first. The taunt off mechanic for Paku is hastening winds. Tank should swap bosses when that gets to around 25 stacks. Paku will cast Gift of Wind, which will buff all bosses and adds in the fight with haste and movement speed. This should be dispelled off those targets. This ability stops happening once Paku dies. Every 70 seconds, Paku's Wrath will happen. A big bird will appear on the center, signifying that it's about to happen. Then that same bird will appear on one side of the area. Everyone needs to get under it or you'll die. Tank should try to stand at opposite ends of the safe zone under the bird so the bosses can still take damage. This ability happens for the entire fight, even after Paku dies. Once Paku dies, Kimball will spawn, so a tank should pick him up and everyone should switch to Gonk. The bosses do heal full once one dies, so double dotting does nothing. Gonk will do a frontal AoE count, so no one else should get hit by that except for the tank. Random players will get hexed with a green circle around them. You need to immediately get away from everyone to let it drop off so you don't spread the hex. This will overlap with Paku's Wrath, so hex targets need to get to one end of the circle while everyone else is at the other end. If the bosses get close to each other, that's fine. Not spreading the hex is more important. This ability ends once Gonk dies. Every 60 seconds, Gonk's Wrath is cast, which will spawn raptor adds around the room. All DPS must switch to slow, stun, and kill these. They fixate people. Do not let them touch you, or you'll die. On Heroic, don't kite these raptors near each other because they'll get buffed to move faster and ignore all slow effects. This ability happens for the entire fight. Once Gonk dies, Akunda will spawn, so the tank should pick her up, and everyone switch to Kimball. Kimball's taunt off ability is Lacerating Claws, which does a frontal AoE cone, so be aware of that DPS. Tank should swap off at around 3 to 4 stacks. Every 60 seconds, Kimball's Wrath appears. The tiger will appear in the center and mark multiple players. Players should spread out because this tiger will pounce on those players, stun them, and put a permanent dot on them. This ability starts happening as soon as Kimball becomes active and still occurs after he dies. Once Kimball dies, switch to Akunda. She'll cast Thundering Storm from melee to worry about. It's a blue circle around her, just get out of it. She'll randomly cast Mind Wipe on multiple raid members, which means they can't attack for 30 seconds. It's a magic debuff and needs to be dispelled. Every 60 seconds, as soon as Akunda becomes active, random players will get Akunda's Wrath. You need to get away from people with this, since you'll pull static orbs that the raid should dodge. On Heroic, Krogwall will join the fight and jump to his furthest target 4 times. This will damage close raid members and knock them back, so dodge this.